camera a little dirty. Hold on here. All right, so I hope everybody's doing well. Let me get you guys. There it is. Hopefully I got that. Maybe it won't fall. What? Why is it not rotating back? There we go. Okay. Hopefully everybody's doing well. This is Bullhorn Betty coming from somewhere over the rainbow. It's nice to see everybody this beautiful morning. I hope everybody's doing well. Hey, Jenny, it's nice to see you. I don't know how you could, well, I've been kind of flying under the radar. Jenny, it's nice to see you. Tammy, Denise, Cheyenne, it's nice to see you all. Hold on one second. You know what I forgot to do? Give me just a second. I'll be right back to my service, my phone service. So hopefully I'm coming in clear. I don't know, you know, that I can't stand some internet sometimes. So it is what it is. I hope everybody is doing very, very well this morning. Jenny, Tammy, Denise, Cheyenne, Jojo. See you, my love. Remind you guys, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, right? Good morning, Brienne, Chaos, Lori, Phil, Don, Cynthia. It's nice to see you, Paula. DNA, it's nice to see you as well. Kathy B, good morning. Donna, it's nice to see you. I have Tippy Toe in the house before this beautiful morning. I see Stephanie, the car guy, Mr. and Mrs. Car Guy. It's nice to see you, Sheila. I just wanted to remind everybody what it's about because we're getting sucked into a distraction. It's called a distraction. It's an intentional distraction to get our focus away from Sebastian Rogers, and that we cannot have go on this channel. So we are going to bring it right on back to Sebastian Rogers and everything live from Ukraine covering the war. Nice. Advocate and fight for the safe return of Sebastian Rogers, and it happened in almost 6 months. Good morning, old Rusty. Paula, it's nice to see you. Wanda, good morning. And I just don't want people being fueled by the distractions because I got to be honest with you. Ever since this clicks and views, which is disgusting, the situation is not going to go away for them or me. I can promise you that. So, you know, there is some issues with that, but you know, my whole entire news feed, or not my news feed, my email has been clogged with all this, and I'm just like, you know what? This is a distraction. This is a distraction to keep us working on everything but Sebastian Rogers, and I want to make sure everybody is brought back. We need to be focusing Sebastian Rogers and only on Sebastian Rogers, what he did. We know where the problem came from. We know exactly who's involved, and so that has been determined. So we've already got a good idea and a good handle on the situation. People have obviously misinformed some people. In the state of Florida, you have to be personally served. I'm not in the state of Florida, as you guys are well aware. Haven't been in the state of Florida for almost a week. So it's I had no idea that this was going on, but you know, you guys know I'm not there. Right? When have you not seen me? When have I not been on live like literally every few hours, okay? So everybody knows there, okay? So you can't serve somebody in absentia without a court order. So this whole thing that they're giving, it's all smoke and mirrors. It was all for publicity. It was all once again another, you know, coordinated effort to try to do something. So we're not going to continue to go down that road. Nobody's working on trying to find Sebastian. So we need to pull it back. At the end of the day, and it has to be about Sebastian Rogers. This is what we're here for. We're not here for this drama. We're not going to be sucked into the drama. It took us away, well, it didn't take me away from my work because, again, they're so stupid. We're always one step ahead of these idiots because they don't have common sense. They just don't have they don't have any kind of, they're stupid. Like, literally stupid. Like, dumb, stupid. You know, most of them have very miserable life. Their families are falling apart. They have children that are in jail. They've been in jail themselves, and these people are not the kind of people we want to get our news and information from. They're trash. And that's exactly what they act like. Trash. just straight ghetto trash. So again, filling up my emails and clogging up my emails. Look, we do have some people still working on Sebastian, but the majority of us are starting to focus on the drama. This is a non-drama channel. You know, we get sucked into the drama because of this nonsense that they keep playing, unlawfully playing. You know, I mean, how many times are they going to willfully violate the law before it's going to turn around and bite them? We dealt with this with SF Investigates with that BS, him violating federal law by filing what are these people thinking? Long story short, all of these things have been filling up, you know, who's did this. We have a good understanding of who did what and who's responsible for everything going on here. So I will deal with that in due time. But at the end of the day, I went through 200 emails about this BS that and everybody has stopped sending me any, you know. So we have to look at that, and I hope you guys don't keep engaging into the drama. We know it was horse crap. We know it was lies. We know somebody violated the law in order to get that done. They have not served me properly. So at the end of the day, boom, 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 we're done. Okay, we're done with the conversation about the drama over in Hendersonville, Tennessee. Have to prove that I am a threat to their life, which I'm not. So they're going to have an uphill battle because they literally will have absolutely nothing. It's a he said, she said thing. There's no way they're going to be able to be successful in a long-term protective order, period. The requirements are so substantial. And so at the end of the day, we're all for clicks and views. So stop the clicks and views. We know it's horseshit. So let's get back to Sebastian. Let's get back to no, it's not the police lie. No, they have to follow the law just like everybody else. You know, if they get stuff that needs to be served, they have to serve it. It's just that the way things fell is I just happened not to be in Florida when it was served. You know, so it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, I can prove exactly where I was, and I wasn't in the state of Florida. Look right while I'm running left. You know, so two can play at that game. You know, I knew that there was going to be drama, so we nipped that in, and we were able to come out and get our work done, and work we did with no problems. Imagine that. Not one single problem was had on this trip. Literally none. Imagine that. Exactly. Someone was bashing you and said, "Oh yeah, what's this got to do with a 15-year-old kid? All you creators, instead of bashing people, shame." Yeah, exactly. Because they don't care. They've never been here for the children, for the victim. They've been here for the clicks and views and whatever requirements are needed to them. There are a few content creators that are on here that actually have a heart and, you know, has to stay out of the drama while still, you know, associating with the drama. You know, they can stay out of it and still associate it, which is, in my opinion, is still supporting it. So, you know, I just stopped hanging out with anybody. I don't support any of it. You know, will that change in a year? Will that change after this case? I don't know. I'm pretty sure my feelings are pretty much hurt by a lot of people. And I'm one of those people that I give you, you know, you get everything. When you come, you have to lose. You have to lose everything. You have to lose respect. You come with a blank slate with me. You come already fully friendly, everything like that. I give you everything. You don't have to earn that. You're already given that by me. The only way we have problems is if you lose that, you know. And so a lot of people have lost that, and the only way that I would ever associate with them again is them regaining that trust. And I don't ever foresee that happening, because to be honest with you, I will always feel jaded. You know, I will always feel jaded. Do I forgive some of these people? Yes, I do. But that doesn't mean I forget about it. It doesn't mean that we're just buddy-buddy and everything's just going to be honky-dory. It's not going to be like that. I forgive you. Peace be with you. I got nothing to do with you no more. You know? I wish you the best. They don't want him found. No. And these people are willfully putting up a distraction to help the profits. These are the same channels that help the Wells. These are the same channels. They are criminal channels. You know? They're ran by criminals for the benefit of criminals. Good morning. It's nice to see you. So what we're going to be doing right now, because even 10 minutes have been wasted on nonsense. of my show, just pure nonsense. So and every time it does that, let me just take this Wi-Fi off. I don't like it. Okay, I don't think we'll have problems. We're on LTE. It might be a little buffering, but I think it'll be a little bit better. Hopefully, am I breaking up still? Because it's the stupid internet here. I hear things fishy. I go searching myself. Yeah, some people just need to find someone to entertain their personal time. Yeah, but don't you think, I mean, wouldn't it be so much easier to be advocating for something of good instead of advocating for something of evil? I mean, it just seems like a winner chicken dinner all day long, but people are just, they're so angry and filled with so much hate. You can't unteach that, you know? It's just got to expire on its own. So, yeah, better now. Okay, yeah, it's the internet here. So, maybe they think they're doing, there's no way that anybody thinks that they're doing good by breaking the law. There's no possibility. They know what they're doing is underhanded and devious and illegal. So there's none of that. But either way, let's get back. We're not even going to talk about it on this channel anymore because it's going to be handled behind the scenes in a very diplomatic and lawful manner. I can promise you that. But at the end of the day, this is truly about Sebastian Rogers. We are in a fight to find out what happened to this boy. And there is a lot of great evil out there trying to push us out and trying to make sure that nobody knows what happened to this boy. They're being threatened. There's other creators that are being threatened by creators with larger platforms to comply with them, so they're not covering the Sebastian Rogers case. People are literally working for Chris and Katie Proudfoot without them spending $1. Without them spending $1. They just rather let these criminals, these people that have done something terrible, we all feel it in our gut, not even have to answer for anything. And that is just, in my opinion, in my moral compass, that's just wrong. These parents had Sebastian Rogers under their custody, care, and control, and cannot produce their son and stepson. That is a major problem. Not only can they not produce their stepson or son, they have no proof that this child walked out of the house at all that morning, from midnight to 6 a.m. The only thing that they have on that outside of that home that we know of at this point is some flashlights going to a car and another flashlight proceeding back to the house. A single flashlight going back to their home. And it just so happens the next morning, after all these lights stop, there was only one person that woke up inside that home. Let me ask you, do we have any teachers in the chat? You don't have to raise your hand if you don't want to. You know, I love teachers. I just don't like the bad teachers. If you are a teacher, let me ask you, what would, if you guys have to teach your children problem solving? So what would be deducted in a problem-solving technique where you have two flashlights go to a car and one flashlight? Let's do it like this. You have two people inside of a home. You see two flashlights leave the home and one flashlight return. The next morning, one person was left in that home. Like they do weird things like this on SATs, do they not? So what would your answer, your final answer be with that problem-solving question? You see what I'm saying? You know darn well you'd be teaching your child that one obviously left the area and one went back to the house. That's what you would reasonably deduct from that. So who was at the car? And, you know, we never heard, what we heard from Miss Bobby is that the car pulled up, the car was there 3 to 5 minutes. The bad part is we only have a small section of the video. We don't have the actual video released where the car pulled up because we don't know if the interior lights came on, if somebody opened the car door, did somebody get out of the passenger side, did somebody get out of the driver's side, you know, were there multiple people in the car? Did somebody use the key lock to lock the car when they proceeded to where they were going? There are a lot of questions. I don't think the flashlight died. And here's why. Because you could see it clearly going all the way back until the trees blocked it off. It was very faint because it was going in the opposite direction, but you can follow it back behind the trees, and that's where it just kind of disappears. I think somebody may have hit the nail on the head. I think one is possibly a flashlight, and the other one was possibly a cell phone light or a headlamp, one that you put on a ball cap. A lot of construction workers have those, especially, during when they have to work like late and it starts getting dark and they need to see something. They just turn their lamp on their hat, boom, boom, boom. I used to have a bill one. It just clipped right on my bill, and it was pretty powerful. It had 4 lights. It wasn't like the ones that go over your head, but I had one that had bill, and it lit it up. I believe those who don't want the truth revealed will do anything to stop the community and beyond to demand answers from law enforcement, but done without hate, screaming, etc. Your voice is out now. I don't know what it means by my voice is out now. It's not. Yeah, when you need your hands free. Yeah. Justice needs to be served. It does. We need to find out what happened to Sebastian, because let's face it, Chris and Katie are evil people. So did she do something to him physically, or did she ship him off somewhere? And the only place that I think that she would have been able to ship him off to, honestly, would be a some type of mental facility. Not only for construction, but with a camper, those lights are good for, exactly. So it's hard that he probably wouldn't have something like that, in all honesty. Crystal Clear Chris is sorry to tell you, unfortunately, they were not flashlights. Now take his word for it. Exactly. We could have believed that. I still think that law enforcement tried to downplay that revelation early on, because they wouldn't come public with the whole dump truck thing. You notice that? They told people behind the scenes, which they can lie to people, but to come to the public and tell them a lie on the record, that's a little different. And so when Nick Barris had Eric Craddock, Deputy Sheriff Eric Craddock, interview, he asked him what were those, and he would not answer, right? Because it's one thing lying to a subject in an investigation. It's a totally another thing to willfully lie to the public, about information that you don't have to lie about. And so he did answer it. He just said it was of no evidentiary value at this moment, and that it potentially could be of evidentiary value later. That's what he said. So he didn't say it was a dump truck or a garbage truck. He never said that. Those words never came out of Eric Craddock's mouth when he had an opportunity. And he also played word salad at the retaining pond and the trash bin, because what he said was, I can't remember how it went. He picked up on a scent, but it was a false hit. I think he said a false hit for Sebastian. I have to go back and listen to his language, because I have it on good accord that they weren't following Sebastian's scent over there, which is a little bit of a problem. So I think that they used word salad. I think they were following a scent, but we don't know whose scent they really were following. But again, that's just my opinion. It could be way, way, way wrong about that. But I'm really looking into that and really trying to make heads or tails of whether or not Sebastian scent was, because they jumped into that pond. And I'm thinking, we were talking about a few different things, and my team. And I remember, I think it was Sue's that had, we were talking about it was everybody, but I can't remember what Sue said, but it prompted me to say, maybe rinsing off their boots or something like that, their shoes, if there was a cleanup, or maybe the cleaning supplies, like maybe a paper towel that they used to clean with had been, gotten separated from the wad and maybe wound up into the water, and they wouldn't have been the wiser about it being a paper towel, or some other item that just fell out of the vehicle that washed into the retaining pond. Because you got to remember, the scent just happened just a few hours before they were searching that area. So the scent should have been nice and strong, because everybody kept saying that there was rain, that this, that, and the other. On that day, it was not raining. They could have picked up the scent. There would have been no scent. Now, the only other thing that they would have had to worry about if it was extremely windy. I've been reading and studying this even back in the Summer Wells case about the different dogs, the different dog capabilities, and some of the things that cause dogs not to pick up or not to hit right are environmental. So it can be extreme heat, extreme cold, it can be the wind changing, and it can take the scent into a different direction in some cases. So there are environmental things. Hey, B. Betty, it's nice to see you. That can prevent a dog from gathering a scent or following a scent, but it doesn't sound like those elements were in play that morning. So they should have been able to hit, and some people are saying cover up. I don't know, because law enforcement, in my opinion, to be honest with you, when it comes to Sumner County, it doesn't sound like they're trying to cover up things. And here's why. Because it was their county leaders, one of their searchers, the guy that mans the maps and stuff like that. He'd been interviewed a couple times by news early on in this, and the one thing that he had said is that he has been doing this for 20 or 30 years. I can't really remember it exactly verbatim what he said, but it basically came down to he had been doing this for something like 20 or 30 years, and they've never come up this empty, I think was the statement. Some variation of that statement. Do you guys remember that early on? When they were, I believe they were still searching, so it was a news footage that was out in the field when they were searching, so it would have been wooded behind him, and I think he was wearing like maybe an orange or something or other, orange potentially, I can't remember. It's not a cover-up, it's just a well-done crime. Yeah, and they're having problems proving it, and that's really the nuts and bolts of it for Sumner County. But at the end of the day, I truly believe that a lot of the problems we're having is lack of funding, is lack of resources. And I almost remember the governor giving them $1 million to help them out with this search, if I'm not mistaken. And if that's the case, that $1 million is gone. It's been gone. And it probably didn't cover a lot. Like, there should have been more exuded for Sebastian Rogers than $1 million. I mean, this is something very major, serious, and we need more funding for the search to continue. Because at the end of the day, we can put as many searchers out in the field as we want, but we're never going to have the information law enforcement has. They need to be the ones out there. They need to be the ones coordinating, search efforts. They have an idea of who it was. They need to be following the movements of the cell phone. And if the cell phone all of a sudden just went dark, there's a reason for that. And you'll have to use some other type of apps. The car, the Fitbit, the whatever they're wearing. I mean, they seem like they are a well-to-do that likes toys. So do they have Alexa in their home? Could they pull anything from Alexa? Did Alexa accidentally record them when she shouldn't have? I mean, what type of technology do they have? And if they have none, that's kind of weird in and of itself too, that they would have no technology, no modern technology, other than their vehicles. They didn't have any security system. They didn't have any, even though she works for Brinks, they didn't believe in securing their home with a disabled son. Yeah. Thank you, Marianne. They can search all they want, but very unlikely they'll find the body. The mother and stepfather premeditated this and took a lot of caution so that he will not be found, in my opinion. You know, I've been always back and forth between the premeditation. Oh, good morning, Ren. It's nice to see you, my love. Hey, Vita, Rosebud, it's nice to see you as well. I've been back and forth with the premeditation aspect of it. And I think it's the call that makes me feel like this may have been talked about, but I don't think it was expected to roll out like this, you know, and I don't think they've ever talked about the actual lighting. I think something just majorly happened. I mean, why? It just seems like if there was an accident, they would have called 911. It seems like by now, if they put this child somewhere under the intense interrogation tactics of TBI as well as the local police, I really think something more serious happened, because I feel like if he was just in a home or in a mental health facility, I just feel like they would have told law enforcement by now and demanded that law enforcement not tell Seth, and the case would just quietly close, you know, after they confirmed that he was healthy and safe. That's typically what happens, right? But that's not the case here. They can't produce this child. They can't say this child is any specific spot other than he walked out the door willingly and on his own without his shoes or any clothes or any food or any money or anything like any of his must-have toys. He left with nothing. Absolutely nothing. Aw, thank you, Ren. Ren just gifted 5 Bullhorn Betty memberships. Oh, that's so sweet. If you got your Bullhorn Betty membership, please don't forget to tell Ren thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, I see Honey Dip. Honey Dip received one. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. The pond is a dead end. They drained it and found nothing. Yeah, it's a dead end. The flashlights were only seen in the backyard and common area. The neighbor's cam that faced the pond shows nothing. And somebody sent me a photo of what they believe was a person with like a thing, and they circled it. Now, unless they circled the wrong area, but it was on this side of the vehicles and this side of the garage, which would have meant that the person was at where the recording came from. So the house where the actual camera was, the person would have had to been down on the ground from it, because you're seeing it in between the trucks and the garage, if that's the case. And if you remember, the lights were actually over in this area out to the side, because the car was only like in this area up here, but you could see the trucks all the way down here, and they're saying that the person is right here. So now, again, that's if I'm looking at it wrong. I've got to go back and look at the footage again and see if I can see that. Okay, babysitting and she fell asleep. Aw. How precious. It's obviously they did something to the poor boy. Kids just don't disappear on their own. And not only that, but I also got a email. Now, I haven't validated or verified this email or who actually sent it. So take the information for what you will, because I can't tell, you know, it's an email. It sounded legitimate, but just because it sounds legitimate doesn't make it so. And somebody had reached out to me and said that they were friends with some of the kids that went to school with Sebastian, and that Sebastian was acting not like himself leading up to his disappearance. They said when he was normally talkative, he was very quiet and to himself, which was very unlike him. I kind of believe this because we saw a bruise on his neck, you know, at that time. But again, it's coming from an unverifiable source, because anybody can send me anything. It could be somebody trolling. It could be somebody legitimate. I really don't know, but to me, it sounded like it was legitimate. I didn't see why the person was reaching out to say this, because if they really wanted to lie about it, they could have said that they went to school with Sebastian and that they have this you know what I'm saying? This inside information, and that wasn't what it was. They were just relaying to me what their friends had expressed to them about Sebastian's demeanor leading up to his disappearance. And I find that problematic. I feel like there were some major home things going on that Chris and Katie have yet to tell us about, and that even the neighbors don't know about, and neither does Seth. That's truly what I believe. Great time, yes. Sonny's got the Team Foul Play shirts. Don't forget this. We are on Team Foul Play when it comes to Chris and Katie. And if you'd like to get your shirt, don't forget to hit up Sonia. And I love the shirt. I got a Team Foul Play shirt. I wonder, did I bring my Team Foul Play shirt? I might have packed my Team Foul Play shirt. I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure. Yeah, that they are treating him like crap. He was nothing to those two. No, because I mean, even the way she explains, it explains like he went to his room and played. It seems like he is literally caged. I mean, I don't want to use caged because I'm sure he's freely able to move, but it seems like he's always stuffed up in his room when he's over at Chris and Katie's house, and then when he's at his dad's house, he has his own recliner. He's, welcomed in the living room, welcomed in hanging out with his dad. His dad takes him to parks. His dad, always tries to get him out of the house and do things with him or play games with him, and tries to keep him active, tries to teach him how to cook. Is constantly trying to teach his son life lessons so he can take care of himself when he gets a little older, isolated. Thank you, Ginger Bell. Thank you. And that is really what, almost like a keynote difference in the Proudfoot home versus Sebastian, Seth's home. It seemed like he was excited to wait for his dad to come home. He stood outside, talked to the neighbors whenever he was there. It just doesn't seem like he did that. Like he was very neighborly with the people that lived in his primary community. There's just a lot of oddities and differences in his behaviors, from one house to another. And I think that he was just very deeply upset. But it does sound like I'm trying to find out, they feel like he was being bullied. And I was, so I'm waiting. I haven't read my emails yet or if the person responded. But it's like, I'd like to know a little more about, how the students were to Sebastian at that school. Were they overly mean, or did people kind of, just chill and just, do their thing and everything like that? I don't really know. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button on your way in if you would be so kind. That would be awesome. It's been like 156 days. Absolutely, Buffalo Mountain. Kathy says he was probably made to be his room day in and day out except for schools. Yeah, except for school rather. Did he have friends? Could they know more? Well, that's kind of where I don't know if he had friends, but I think there were people that were friendly to him, that had more tolerance and patience for him than say maybe a school jock or something. I'm trying to find out that information. If the person does respond, I'll let you know what I can find. But just take the information with a grain of salt at this moment, because I don't know who the person is. I haven't really tried to look into them to see how truthful they are. To me, they appeared to be truthful. But again, it's an email. I don't know who's on the other end of that email, no matter how convincing it could be, But it like I said, it seemed legitimate. It seemed legitimate. I'm completely at a loss over this case. I'm sure law enforcement feels the same. If they make any moves or call TBI or FBI, the county has to pay for it. Exactly. And that's another thing, is the avocation to fund the police departments in and around Tennessee. They need more funding. no matter how you look at it. Like this one doesn't even have like a public information officer, and they have a large enough, this is not their first major case in this community, in the Hendersonville community. So there is absolutely a huge need, especially for Hendersonville, to have a public information officer. Well, that costs money, and that's a full-time job, and it's not a low level job either. It's a very high, you need somebody that knows how to speak, that's very fluent with law enforcement, that knows what they can say and what they cannot say. It's not just about a person that can be nice to the public. It's about a person that can bring the messaging and distribute the messaging. And they don't have that, and that's a lofty position in the grand scheme of things. It's a high paying job. I would think it would probably be over $50,000 or $60,000 per year. Oh, thank you, Ginger Bell. God bless you, or more, right? Or more. So it goes to aw, Ginger Bell, you sponsored Seth. Seth's officially welcome to the crazy family. He's officially a member. I love it. Just like I'll never believe a parent forgets to leave the children. And to be honest with you, I can kind of understand leaving the child in the car, but not for hours. I can't understand. I can understand that, and this is the only reason why I understand it. It's the sleep deprivation. When you have, and it's usually in the newborns, not older children, unless you're on substances, in my opinion. But when it's newborn, sometimes these moms are literally walking in a freaking fog. Like it whether you believe it's right or wrong or whatever, but there are just some, either and fathers, they're walking around in a fog because they're so sleep deprived. They have bills to pay. They got a brand new baby. They're in sleep deprivation is a serious thing. It literally confuses the crap out of you. I don't know if anybody's ever had true sleep deprivation, but you are in a state of confusion. You literally, so I'm kind of in a fog myself. Yeah, touche. But when you're working a full-time job plus taking care of a baby all night, especially one that's not sleeping, and then you've got to get up and go to work, you don't get to call in to sit, to sleep. You don't get to call in, and so, parents try to, adjust their lives and schedules, and sometimes it falls short. And you think you took the kid to the daycare, and you drove past the daycare and went home, and you're absent-minded because your child's sleeping in the back seat. You didn't even hear a darn thing. So I do believe that there is a level of, true just accidents that the parent is absolutely, utterly distraught. Great parents, just something happened. But for the majority, I think it's negligence. It's because they're usually on something, or not paying attention, or just don't care. Like there's one guy that apparently left his kids in the hot car all the time. And this time he just happened to fall asleep when he left his youngest child in there. It's like, why would you leave her in there? And not only that, but the mother had yelled at him several times before that not to leave the kids in the car. Now, I know that whenever I was growing up, when your child was sleeping, especially if you had a colicky baby, you let them sleep. You didn't touch them, you didn't do anything, you let them sleep. But I've never known them to leave the car rolled up and closed up. Even with the air conditioning on, they would roll down the windows or open the doors. It would never created a dangerous situation, and they were checked on literally every 15-20 minutes until they woke up, or until the mom thought they slept enough that they didn't mind moving them. They feel like their baby got, at least some adequate sleep. So, I mean, it's not like it's a death sentence. It's just that parents, there are reasons why parents leave kids in the car, but it should never be shut up in the car, And in this day and age, you shouldn't just leave the child in the car at all. But, talking back in the day, I know that there was plenty of times that we went out to Mayaca City and there would be a sleeping baby in the car, and they just opened the windows, and if it was a hot day out there, they would pull one of the old, fans around and just blow it in the car. you know? So it was just, you know, it is what it is. Now, I'm not going to sit there and dispute whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent. I'm just saying what people used to do. You're exhausted, you know your body, you call someone to take care of your kid. Oh, I agree. I agree. You always think that, but you know, people don't realize there are people that literally have nobody. And everybody's like, there's no possibility. Yes, there is. Like, we all have our families, we have somebody we can call in a time of need. There are people out there that do not have that. You know, they're on their own. They don't know anybody. You know, they're, you know, whatever their situation may be, could be new to the area. You know, they may not have their family. I mean, you know, I know somebody that their entire family's pretty much gone. So, you know, you got to look at that as well. I lost my son 3 years ago, and if he was missing there, ain't one day that would go by my ass working out there looking for my baby boy. Absolutely, Marianne. Absolutely. That's the way it should be. Aw, thank you, IK3. It's nice to see you. Aw, thank you. Don't forget to tell all the folks that have, you guys have done amazing today. Thank you. You guys are awfully sweet. Thank you so much. Let's just go through those. So Ren says, smash that like button. I didn't even heart that. Well, there, you just got a heart. Ren also donated 5 Bullhorn Betty memberships. So if you received Ren's 5 Bullhorn Betty memberships or received a Bullhorn Betty membership, don't forget to tell Ren thank you. Michelle gifted Bullhorn Betty membership. If you received her Bullhorn Betty membership, please tell her thank you. Ginger Bell, IK3, also Bullhorn Betty membership. So if you received any Bullhorn Betty memberships this morning, please don't forget to tell your donor thank you, and God bless you guys for the love and support. I do appreciate it. You'll never know how much I appreciate you guys. Big hug, the virtual hug. Oh, Sadie, it's nice to see you. Alan, it's great to see you as well. I hope you guys are doing well. My mother died when I was little, and I had no one to help but my sister who traveled all the time. Yeah. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. But, you know, we do need to be thinking about it. Like, you know, because at the end of the day, this is starting to come. Like, everybody's assumptions about as soon as Faith is home, Sebastian will pop out. You know, Sebastian will come home. He'll be home safely. This was just to get him out of the house so they could have Faith. You know, those are falling flat now because Faith has been home for a significant time now, and Sebastian still hasn't been found. And now more than ever, Chris and Katie went dark. They don't even advocate for anybody to search for their son. They're not advocating, they're not putting any flyers or posters or anything out there to help search for their son. They're leaving it to literally every single person else. Everybody else they're leaving it to. Meanwhile, on Seth, he's straddled with, you know, paying for shirts, paying for flyers. He just got another shipment of flyers that he had just purchased. New bands. He's just purchased a bunch of new bands to mail out and hand out. There's just a lot of stuff, a lot of cost that goes into Seth's side, and buying flyers and signs. Those signs are like $20 a piece, and he has like 100 of them, you know. And we've peppered them everywhere. And guess what? Idiots in the community, I say a couple idiots, a few idiots in the community, keep tearing him down, right? Keep tearing him down. Maybe if we didn't have to keep reposting flyers in the same area over and over and over again, maybe some of that money could go toward other things, you know? But at the end of the day, what has Chris and Katie done? And why is it people outraged with them? Why is everything coming on Seth's shoulders when he was the one that didn't even have Sebastian when he disappeared? Where is the outrage for the lack of raising funds, a reward? Why is the reward money still stuck at like $3,000 or $3,500? Where are the Proudfoots? They are the ones that have the resources to raise funds. Meanwhile, they're straddling with a man that's been disabled and out of work for months, with all the cost of the search, the funding of this search, the flyers, the signage, the shirts, the wristbands. Like, how much more can this man do? You know? How much more can he do? He's getting literally no help in all the grief. And everybody's pointing at him, trying to mock him. Where's Chris and Katie? Why? I don't ever want to hear anybody going after Seth anymore until they go after Chris and Katie and find out where the heck they've been. We know where Seth's been. We've watched him. We know exactly what he's doing and how he's doing it. We know there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it that he has exhausted just about every avenue that he can possibly exhaust. Why Chris and Katie sat on their ass, and they're the ones that are military trained. And they get a pat on the back for throwing $500 at a blip sign, potentially. We never even found a receipt. Somebody just said they did. We've never even seen a receipt from that. We've never even seen a receipt. We just have some idiot saying, oh, well, they gave $500. Okay, well, why can't you produce me a receipt that shows Christopher or Katie Proudfoot on that $500? It seems like if I put $500, I could prove it. You know? So Chris and Katie have nothing. They spent $500. Meanwhile, what's Seth spent? Seth's probably spent well over $10,000 on everything, or more. If you add up, do the calculations your very self. I bet you will come up with a ridiculous amount of money. You know? So if you had a way who's doing more and who's not, I think not only are we seeing a failure of Chris and Katie on the front of actually searching, on the front of actually giving a crap about their son, but we also have them not even trying to help in any way financially to bring their son home safely. They spent $500. Are you kidding me? I think it's like $600 or $700 at that campground that he keeps just keeping his RV at. Every month after month for no good reason. He's not staying there. He's not living there. He's not going there. He's not even stopping at the camper. You know? Everybody has said that only one package showed up on the front of that, and that was it. And by the afternoon, it was gone. So somebody either picked it up and took it like maybe the front desk, or somebody's inside that camper picking it up. Because from my understanding, Chris wasn't in the area to have done anything with the package. But I don't know. You know, I'm going off somebody else's information when it comes to that. I have seriously questioned whether Katie is being honest with Chris. Chris would have been the muscle. He knows what happened. Whatever her excuse is, no, maybe she's not honest as to why it happened the way it did. But I truly believe Chris came back to that house and helped her with something. Loves her buffets. Well, if the state made looking for a child free for parents, I would think less children would be lost, more would be found. Yeah. Well, even the United States Postal Service doesn't even, you know, our USPS doesn't even try to help families of missing, you know, if they know a child's missing, you know, most places, if you can usually get things at cost or stuff like that, but even our federal, they don't care. They do nothing, absolutely nothing to help locate these children. Not even allowing like flyers, or if you can document that you're mailing stuff out for missing children, you should get a discount on that or something. I don't know. I just feel like something needs to be done to reduce the cost, because I can tell you the packages I sent out, if I sent out 100 of those, do you know that it would have cost me almost like $550 some odd dollars to send out 100 packages of flyers to people? That's too damn expensive. How the hell does it cost $500 to mail flyers, even with these little thingies in it? It didn't do anything to the damn package. You know, it just seems stupid. Just seriously stupid. Ginger says, Katie, how can you not know who comes in and out of your home? Where is your home security system? It is awful to even think that she didn't have a security system in that house working for Brinks. Like, I remember when my father went into the security system part, and he was expanding his electrical business to include security systems. One of the biggest things is he wanted to know how it worked. He wanted to know how to install it. So he installed like the Cadillac of systems in our own house, and made sure everything worked. And I gotta tell you, it was a pretty robust system. I mean, we had like speakers inside the house, outside the house. We had like, you know, all the sirens. Like if somebody broke in the house, and the house would light up like a Christmas tree inside and outside. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts about which house would be, dinging. I mean, it was loud too. I think he had almost like a siren on the house. It was. Can you imagine trying to sneak back in after sneaking out, and the whole alarm system goes? I do. I've had that experience before. Woke up the whole neighborhood, literally. Don't forget that she spent money on his goodbye day. Yeah. And it's like, that whole fun fact thing, with the breakfast. That implies she doesn't cook. She doesn't like cooking. If that's something that he would brag about, that had to have been once in a very, very, very seldom time did she ever make that boy breakfast. For him to be so excited that he called his family to brag about his breakfast, she never made breakfast for that boy. There's no way she made breakfast for that boy regularly. Mm-mm. And that just makes you wonder, why. So again, she's doing things that are out of character, right? She made breakfast that morning. It would seem normal and customary to everybody else, except the fact that she doesn't make breakfast. Now it kind of gives you even, like they started out the day being the best day ever, right? When you show the two flashlights going to CP's mom's car, I think the flashlight going back to the house, I think you solved a huge part of the case. Well, it's one flashlight. There were two people in the house. Two flashlights come out of the house. One flashlight goes back. That's when I believe Sebastian was removed from the home. I believe that there is something missing, because I think that if Sebastian was walking to the car, to the person, the third party in the car, I think he would have had his own flashlight. So there should have been 3 flashlights instead of 2. So it leads me to believe that something inside that house is also missing. Something very large is missing, other than a child, a 15-year-old child. No parent would do this over an accident. No parent would do all of this over putting a child in a mental ward. Nobody would do this. Seth and her have been splitting custody of Sebastian for years. Why would all of the sudden she just decide, oh, I don't want to share him anymore, but I don't want him either? That does not make any type of normal logic. Because if she wanted to do this to keep Sebastian away, she would have done this years ago. Years ago. Yeah, Linda, I've heard that they've had cameras in the house, but you know what? But Miss Bobby kind of kiboshed that, because in the Miss Bobby interview, she basically said that there were elderly people that lived in that house before, and they were not technologically advanced, and therefore had no cameras. They had only been in the house for a year and a half, and obviously didn't set up any type of security in the year and a half that they were there, is the way I'm understanding. And the only time they did set up security is after Sebastian disappeared, so they could monitor themselves, right? So they can make sure that they're safe, but not their 15-year-old child. I can't with them. I can't. They're all about themselves. They're very selfish people. They're very self-absorbed. You can clearly see that they care about themselves more than they care about the welfare of Sebastian Rogers. And the reason why I believe they're not looking for Sebastian Rogers is because they know he's not going to be found. They don't even want the appearance of looking like they give a crap, because they're basically telling law enforcement in the world to prove it. So that's what we're going to do. You know, I think law enforcement has a good handle on it. I'm hoping that they can just build the bridge from what they got to where they need to go. You know, but at the end of the day, I don't see them building the bridge without proper funding. We need law enforcement to have more monetary resources so they can buy the tools that they need when the crap breaks off. You know? Hey, Victoria, it's nice to see you. So, you know, I think it's a funding, I think Tennessee has a law enforcement funding issue. I think that is the root cause of the problems we're having in this state. I really do. I believe it's the root cause. You know what I thought was weird? Why did KP mention Sebastian taking his flashlight chain? Because I think they were already questioned about that video. They just weren't expecting Nick Barris to release it to the public, because he wasn't supposed to, from my understanding. So I think it was just a story. It was too good to you know, sometimes it's easier to ask for you know, for, you know, say I'm sorry than it is to ask for permission, you know. So I don't know. I think Nick Barris knew he probably wasn't supposed to release it, but the story was too good. You know, sometimes you gotta weigh it, you know. Probably upset a lot of people, but he got some information out there to us that would have never made it to our hands had it not been for Nick Barris. And yeah, he probably got into a little bit of some issues with his company as well as law enforcement. I'm sure law enforcement wasn't too happy with the release of that, but you know, it was, and I'm sure the neighbor probably didn't expect it to blow up like it did, because it did. That video absolutely, without a doubt, went viral. So, anyways. Oh, hey. Easier to ask for forgiveness than it is permission. There it is. There it is. So, I do think he did, you know, put that out there. But, anyways. All right, guys, don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to share the content. Comment on the replay. I love you guys. Have a great day. I got to get started on my day and get my butt moving. So it was very good. We had a very good trip. It was very successful. I'm very thankful for it. And I'm thankful that we didn't have any problems. So I'll see you guys soon. I'll catch you on the flip side. I don't know where I'll be, but I'll be somewhere.